believer in the Central Coast. My God. Again, this one's not on Johnny. Johnny, you did a fantastic job. This one's on our guest, who I'll get to in a second. Hey, dude.
Hey, man, what's up?
Not much. I was sitting there
A
getting
couple
ready to
weeks ago, I heard
record.
sitting there.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago. And some guy who will remain nameless was like, I'm dropping a bunch of seeds and stuff. And I was like, oh, those seeds seem interesting. We should probably talk to this dude because one of them is like apple flavored or some nonsense. You can tell I don't care, obviously. But I am really excited to bring in for the first time our guest, BGG. Welcome back, you son of a bitch.
For the first time, isn't this like my sixth time maybe on YAG?
Probably.
I think it is six
There's
times
been
now. Yeah. It's
first
been a
six.
minute since
Who's
the last
counting?
time I was on, but I think I've been on at least 5 or 6 times. You guys hold the record for the one that I've been on the most.
Oh,
Really? I was
fantastic.
gonna say, like
Yes.
you were whoring yourself out there to like high again, and them like you were becoming a big superstar. I saw, so you
I
didn't want nothing to do with our loser asses.
never
See,
did
and here I
anything with
thought,
High Again. Never did anything with them, nor would I. But they do
here's what
them, and
I
I'm gonna
thought.
do me.
You told me, you said, I've got to go do my time again. And I figured you've been locked up this whole time. But
Time again. You see, time again, and how I
yeah,
it's
so you got
T.
confused. We thought he was getting
Yeah.
locked up again. But this time they let you out on good behavior, which is weird on that part of the coast. I didn't know you guys were known for your good behavior.
They let me out for bad behavior, actually.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
opposite. Well, no, but we appreciate you being on. I don't want to minimize. I was joking, and it hurt me a little bit about your upcoming drop. There's actually a lot of great stuff in there that I do want to get to. But how long has it been since your last drop? About it feels like it's been a while.
Um, my last well, I did Butter the Gods over the summer. That
Yes,
was in July, the beginning of July. That was
that
kind of
didn't
like
count
just
because of Stony and everything, right?
right. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course it counted because of Stony. It counted. That's why it counted. Otherwise, no, it would not have. But that was kind of a limited thing. I want to say there were only like 19 or 20 packs or so that I ended up putting out there. Um,
Damn.
yeah, it was a pretty limited drop overall. I wasn't looking to do like a full drop. I usually don't during the summer. I typically have like three larger drops throughout the year, and then I try to like trickle in little things here and there when they're ready. When I feel like okay, I've tested this enough, the testers like it, um, they're ready to go out. I try to do like two of the box set type things, once in the spring, once in the fall, and then there's like smaller drops, like things. I'm constantly working on many projects, so it's kind of like when something is checking all my boxes, that's I'm like, all right, I probably should try to plan something for this.
Yeah, those all when something finally goes right, and you're like, man, I don't want to wait till fall. I've been working on this, and we often talk about how much you have behind the scenes. Like, there's so many things that you've crossed that literally will never see the light of day. That you could make a
No,
drop every week for for quite a few times, but you have a lot going on, but you make sure that it's right before you drop it. So that's always
well,
something we appreciate.
it starts with being right for me. Like for example, the crosses that are going to be coming out, um, for the auto flowers. I've grown them all out myself at least twice, or I can say twice. And now they've been being grown out by the testers as well. So I liked what I was seeing enough to then share them to the testers. The It ended up only being two new strains. There is uh, a redo of one of the previous ones. So blueberry grape is the main parent that I used for these crosses, and that is now an F7. So I've been working with that one for quite some time. It's one of my
Quite a while,
original,
yeah.
not original crosses, but one of the first, say, five or so of the newer things when I took two things and crossed them together and was happy with them and brought them forward and then had an initial release and whatever. Um, so this is now an F7. Uh, so that was the one that I used, and I actually started the project with 22 other things to cross it into because I'm like, all right, I typically will lay out all of not all, but any of the seeds that I feel like, okay, these ones probably have potential to mix well with whatever it is that I'm trying to choose for the parent I want to work with at that time. And a lot of the times it's when I'm trying to move something forward. So for example, when I was working with Odin Sons and wanted to move that forward in the filial generations, to kind of solidify specific things, I'm like, well, you know what, while I'm doing this, I might as well pollinate some other things that I think might mix well with it. And out of that, I'll usually find 1 or 2 or 3, sometimes more, of things that I'm like, okay, I want to explore these more. Then that's when I'll grow all of them out, see how they all are, and then I'll pick the ones that I'm like, all right, these ones are checking the boxes. Let's grow them out again. Make sure that they're checking all the boxes. So it started with 22 in this particular grouping of seeds. So there were 22 original, say, contenders, I guess. 22 crosses were made. And the 2 new ones that I settled on were the ones that I liked the best, that ended up checking all the boxes. So there were 20 of them that did not make it.
Yeah. How close of a call is it sometimes? Like, is it, I mean, I'm sure there's some that you try and you're like, nah, man, this is just a no. But how close is it sometimes? And do you almost always err on the side of not releasing, it seems?
Yeah, so I have a checklist that I go through. So a lot of it started just in my head, and now I actually have a physical checklist that I'll go through. And as they're growing, I'm looking at different things. So I'm looking for, in the initial stages, obviously, how germination. That's the first thing that everything has to pass. If something's only 70% germination, well, automatically that's probably not going to make it. I'll still grow out some of them to see if the end result is worth me bringing it forward and trying to improve on the germination rates. Sometimes that has to do more with when the seeds were actually harvested more than the cross itself. So if it's something that, okay, this round of seeds is not passing that particular test, but the end result and everything I've seen in between and the ones that did germinate are really good, then it's something I may work with later on down the line. So I'll make note of that. So that's the first test that it has to pass. The second thing is kind of like vigor. How quickly are they coming out of the soil? The initial like stress tests that I'll do when they're younger to see, do they dampen off if I overwater them? Are they really susceptible at a young age to drought conditions? So if I, don't water them for a couple of days. Now in cocoa, you don't water for a couple of days, the cocoa is going to be bone dry. So on a plant that's 10 days old, you do that most of the time, that plant could potentially die and is not going to come back. So I'm looking for the ones that can.
So funny you saying that, because I was just sitting here thinking about like when I fucking bomb my bed, like I was thinking like, dude, because I have a tendency to like over fucking water because I've grown in cocoa so many times. Like I've started in cocoa because of that tendency. So now it's like a habit for me to, and I forget I'm not in fucking cocoa all the time. So I'm fucking, by the way, I don't know if I've ever said this. I fucking hate the way I say cocoa. Anyways. But yeah, I was like, man, I'm trying to figure out, like, do I get a fucking bunch of cocoa? Do I wet it down in a bucket and get it nice and wet to start with? Fucking spread the seeds out on the bed, put the cocoa on top of that, and then start fucking just watering in the bed on a regular basis because I have to get my bed up to fucking moisture rate anyways.
What I typically will do when it comes to the cocoa is I'll completely saturate it and then give it a day and then water it down again to about 15% runoff. And then, give that maybe an hour or so just to kind of settle everything in. And then I'll plant the seed direct in the soil. You do want it to be fully saturated. The nice thing about cocoa is even at a full saturation, the plant is still allowed, or it's available air, basically the oxygen, it can still pull it out, where with soil, when you fully saturate it, it takes a little bit before it actually is able to get the air and the oxygen from the soil or whatever, the stuff that it needs. So that is kind of the benefit where the plant can continually just drink and drink and drink and drink because it still has access to everything else it needs as well. But in that, it also dries out way faster than
Yeah, I
soil.
was
Like
gonna
a
say.
fully saturated
Also,
pot.
you're talking in your stress tests that you're doing drybacks, but I'll hamper on that point as someone who does soil. I do drybacks too because I'm a lazy, forgetful bastard, right? Side effect of the medication often, but I can get away with it. You can't
Right.
get away with it in cocoa. So how often do you see, like, if that's on your checklist, you're throwing away, I imagine, a lot of really nice plants because that's asking a lot
At
sometimes.
times, it's like you'll notice after a day if a plant is like, oh no, I can't, I need water, I need water. If it's already showing that after just a day of not watering it, then I know I need to water that plant every day just to see how it goes the rest of the way. But I'm looking for the ones that now it's been 2 days and I haven't watered it, and this thing is lighter than air, and I can lift up the solo cup and it's just, there's no weight to it whatsoever. And this plant is still happy as a clam because I don't know, it's sucking the humidity out of the air and still thriving just on the humidity, screw the roots kind of a thing. And then you water it and all of a sudden you see it jump and it's like, hey, let's go. That's kind of what I'm looking for to pass that particular test. The same thing with the overwatering thing. So in cocoa, I typically water once a day. You can water multiple times a day. I'll typically water once a day, but when I'm doing like an overwatering test on them, I will literally be watering them over and over and over and put the solo cup itself in a container of water. So basically it can't get rid of that water other than through transpiration or evaporation. And that's more for like the young seedlings and things that I'm looking to see. And these things are going to dampen off if the soil's too wet. But it's also, again, like I grow in cocoa. That's my main medium. I do use like a super soil when I'm doing some of the tests, like the drought and the dryback, or not dryback, the drought and the overwatering test. I need to have some kind of a super soil. I can do that in as well when I'm doing the actual testing of them. But I rely on my testers to do some of that as well. Ultimately, when it gets to them, I've done most of the tests. So now I'm just looking, all right, can they figure out a way to screw this up? Or are they going to have success? Are they going to be able to
I bet I can
get from point A to point B and have a successful harvest and be happy with it, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's excuse me, geez, I could have stayed mute. That is literally something I don't think you get enough credit for. You are probably one of the most tested genetics before there's a release, just based on your volume alone, but also with your testers. And you do something that, like, you utilize them in ways that some other people do, but not everyone does, where you won't tell them what they're growing. You kind of just send them like an A, B, or B, C, or fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
they know,
you know what they're
basically
growing.
they know if it's an auto or photo and if it's a reg or feminized. That's it.
Yeah, that your list is probably annoying. Like, how far back does it go? Because I was just going through some of the shit you sent me, and I'm going, I wonder if he knows what the fuck he sent me.
I'd have to look. I have a lot of notebooks and stuff, so I'd have to actually look back at the notebooks themselves to see, because I think the last ones I just sent out were XYZ 1 and 2.
What's
yeah.
absolutely wild is I get to look back on some of them because Estoni is one of your testers.
Mhm.
And I get to look back, and then we'll find out later what it was. And you're just like, man, you were growing this fucking, like, you had no idea how great of a thing you were growing at the time. Like, it's so cool having I won't ever do that. I need to know because I, like a controlling asshole, right? I need to know the
Some
name of
people want
everything.
to know. Some people of the testers, they do want to know, and if they really do, I will let them know. This is what the cross is, and it's more for their own records, so they can like kind of write it down and stuff. I said, just don't talk about it, because if it doesn't become a released thing, I don't want that information out there. If it's, I want people being like, hey, I saw that so and so grew this out, I really want some of those. You have any of those seeds? And I'm like, well, no, I'm not releasing them.
Yeah, they're
An example, like, and that's the whole thing. Like, a couple of my testers have actually reached out in the past and been like, I know you didn't release this, but I'm wondering if you have any more of the seeds because I'd like to grow more of it out. Back Nine Bandit did that one time, and he said, do you happen to have any more of these? I'm like, yeah, I have a bunch. I'll send you some, because he really liked the smoke enough. It just wasn't checking all the boxes. In that particular one, he really likes the Asgardian Funeral, which was one of my first crosses I ever made. And it was actually one of the crosses I made using that as the main parent. So I had sent him, he was the tester for that. I was growing it out again at the same time. I want to say, I think that one was showing intersex traits like late in flower. And I'm like, no, I don't want to mess with that. Even though I wasn't getting seeds from it because it was so late in flower. I'm like, I don't want to take the chance of, that potentially happening. And then
all it takes is one
garden
dude
gets
getting a
wrecked.
seed somewhere else and sees a little nanner and he's like, BGG fucked my tent. And you're like, no, he didn't, dude. Like, but whatever.
Well,
Yeah, I get it.
there's been some, like the cherry sauce, which is one of the sauce crosses that I made that I only ever put out, I want to say, like a limited amount. I think I sold like 10 packs of it or something like that. With the
run that one.
with the understanding that there are Herm traits in that cross. That was using Cherry Garcia. In the Cherry Garcia that I had, I never saw any Herm traits in it. But for whatever reason, and it was maybe like, 3% or something. It was super low. The amount of them that actually would happen to, and it usually happened very early in flowers, so you could catch it early enough. And if you plucked them off, you didn't have any problems. But I wanted to make sure that I gave a bunch away. And Mac Attack at the time, I think he was like, yeah, I want to grow it anyway. Just, I'll just keep an eye out for stuff. And I don't know if he ever grew it or if he ever found anything, but I never heard anything from him about that. So, and anyone that
talked
actually
to him the other day. I just talked to fucking Mac the other day. No bullshit.
Oh, hell yeah.
When we got back
How's
from
he doing?
Chicago, I was like, dude, we fucking I didn't tell him, but we drove through your state. I was like, fuck, what's Mac up to? I was talking to Cap and shit because Cap's actually met him.
Yeah, Cap's good.
Yeah, he's doing good, man. He's doing good.
Nice.
Good.
He's a good guy.
Good
miss him.
update on him.
He was one of my testers.
Yeah. He grew
a
some
bit.
fucking impressive Odinsons, I remember specifically.
Yeah, dude.
That were
That
like,
and actually the blueberry grape that he grew, I want to say he pulled over a pound off of it when he grew that one out as a tester.
Yeah.
That was,
That
I
dude
want to
was-
say that was the F3 of the blueberry grape.
that was one of the things that we sorely miss with Mac is that dude could grow with salts and could actually answer salt questions.
Yeah.
Because at one point we did have a pretty decent split of at least having the conversation of like differences, but then now we're all pretty much organic growers.
Right.
But we still do say, whatever it takes to get medicine in your jars. We're just not very knowledgeable on the salt game, so we're not going to be answering any questions. We have you.
Well, I mean, I've done. I can answer questions for both. I've grown organically. I still do now, but cocoa has always been my jam. I don't know. There's something about it.
You grow impressive plants any way you do it, though. You get. I know. I know you haven't been posting them lately, but when I remember you posting pictures of your full like setup that you had at certain times, and just so many green healthy plants. And I remember just being like, that's not fair, man. You don't even got like 2 or 3 yellowing leaves right now. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're pretty good at this cocoa nonsense.
Yeah, it's the thing when I first started growing that I wanted to do, and it's pretty much how I tackle anything new that I want to learn, is crushing that learning curve. So I want to absorb as much information about everything I can on whatever that subject is as quickly as I possibly can. And when it came to growing, my first grow was actually outside, right in the ground. I've told the story before, where it was literally in the middle of my yard, where pretty much anybody could have seen. The plants got gigantic. They were like, I don't know, 4 to 6 feet tall each. They were 3 photo periods. They were like 4 to 6 feet tall each, and well over 4 feet wide in the 4 foot by 8 foot bed that I had. And they were just spilling out on the end. I ended up getting this cloth stuff to kind of cover them and try to make them so they were somewhat hidden. And yeah, it was a huge mess. But I got the growing bug after growing those for sure. And then I wanted to grow inside, but I did not have a light tight area. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to use this closet that we really don't use. And I covered the walls in panda film. I made like a fake panda film door that had a zipper that I bought and put it on there. And I had a light in there, and I had like no fans. There was no exhaust fans or anything. So it would get like super hot. I'd have to open it up to like let the air out. And I had like a thermometer on the outside that had a little probe that went inside and I'd be like, oh shit, it's 99 in there. I probably should open the door, And my first grow in there, I grew 4 plants, and the closet was maybe like 3.5 by 4 foot. It was a weird shape. It wasn't quite that. It was maybe like 3.2 by 3.8 or whatever. It was, it was small. It wasn't a 4 by 4 by any stretch of the imagination. And the first 4 plants that I grew, I ended up getting like 11 ounces off of them total. So I was like stoked. I'm like, holy shit, autoflowers had never grown before. The genetics were not good. I mean, I got them from seedsmen. I don't even remember exactly what they were. One of them was Skittles by Barney's Farm that took 160 days to finish.
Jesus Christ.
160 days?
Yeah, an autoflower that took 160 days to finish.
My record is 121.
Yeah, fuck
and
you, Barley.
Yeah, I know, seriously. Towards the end of that, I was just going, I don't give a shit at this point. I'm just chopping the motherfucker.
It just kept going and going and going and going. I mean, it was crazy. The smoke was really good at the end, but I'm like 160 days. It seems like a really long time for these autoflowers, and everything I've read said they're under 100 days, and you don't need any light thing or whatever. And I had started my second run before that plant was pulled down. Like, these plants were getting large to the point where it's like I didn't have space for them. So I put the 4 plants in there, and they were like touching the walls and touching each other and everything. So my second run, I decided I would put 7 in there, because if 4 can definitely fit, then I can fit 7. And it was a disaster. I got through it again, and I improved. I got more yield. Obviously there were more plants, but I got more yield, and the flower was better, and I was like learning more and more and more. So I was pretty excited about like the progress that I was making with that. And then that's when I moved and I got a tent. And all of a sudden I went from, growing the 7, I think I jumped to like 11, and then I jumped to like 15, and then I started doing a perpetual. So I would have, dozens of plants going at a time in various different stages. At one point I was doing, I want to say 4 a week. I would plant 4 autoflowers a week. And they're on basically a 12 to 13 week cycle. So if you do the math, there's a lot of plants.
We don't do math here at YAG.
Yeah.
I've planted like 4 a week for a period of like 2 weeks when nothing's popping, and I'm keep scrambling to pop shit. But doing that for any longer than that is did it ever start to feel like a chore? The perpetual. That is my only fear with growing perpetually. Like I kind of attempted it a few times, but I just don't ever want it to be like, shit, I got to do it this week to match up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
I think for myself, it was more. I was just so excited to just continually have multiple plants in all the various stages, and I was learning again, like crushing that learning curve. I wanted to grow as many plants as I possibly could. In my first year, I grew almost 100 autoflowers, and that's a lot. So I learned a lot. I mean,
for every 3 months, you might get fucking 2 dozen at best.
Right. So but that's why, like, now you have people that are on their 3rd grow, and they're like, okay, I finally figured this out. Well, I was the same way, except, my 3rd grow was actually part of my 2nd grow, because I had grown so many, I'd grown 4 plants the first time, then 7. That's 11 plants in my first 2 grows. And I learned a lot during that period of time. To where then when I went to the next one, they just kept getting better and better and better and better. And the plants got larger and larger and larger. And all of a sudden I'm like, holy crap, I'm getting, 12 ounces off a plant, where that's more than I got off of the 4 plants I grew initially. So yeah, I mean, and it has pretty much continued since. And now with breeding, it's a whole different animal, when you're popping 100 seeds
Well,
and watching them grow.
Do a ton of different crosses like we've touched on, and then narrow it down. But on top of that, you are still actively searching. You're trying new genetics constantly.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying new strains, and so it is a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you just can't ever really convey the scope of how large it is. Like every grow you grow, you're like, okay, I'm doing this cross. Like there's so much planned into it that you kind of you lose scope.
Well, like I said, the first thing I'll do is I'll go through and I'll lay out the seeds that I have, and I only pick ones that I've grown before. So I've grown at least one of these plants, if not usually 2, on the autoflowers. Photoperiods, a lot of them that I work with are from clones, so that's completely different. I'm able to sample the flower because I'm getting them from people that I know. Or if I haven't, then I'll grow it out myself, like I did with the GMO root beer that I used. I grew that out a couple of times myself before I decided to use it. Same thing with George. I grew that one out a few times before I decided to use that one. Yeah, so I've grown the plants out, and I have notes that I've taken on all the plants, so that when I lay these things out, I can then go back and look at my notes and be like, okay, this is the effects. These are the terpenes. These are the flavors that I was getting out of it. And I do think this one would pair well with this. Now, then it's just a matter of making growing them out, making the breeding project, getting the seeds, and then growing those out and seeing, all right, well, was I right? Or was I not right? A lot of times, so out of the 22 that I grew, 20 of them, the end result was good. So the flower and everything, it did add something to the mix. So it was a slight or greater improvement over either of the parents, which is the number one thing I always look for. So that's the first part of it, though, and that's great. Okay, so this tiny plant that only checked the final box of it's better than both parents. Okay, great. So I have something that I can kind of smoke on and enjoy or whatever for a little bit, but I'm not gonna release that, And then 2 of them were like, "Yeah, this is just weird. There's something about this that just doesn't make sense or whatever. It's not. It doesn't bring anything new, or it's too much like this parent or too much like that parent." And which happens sometimes too. There's sometimes you can get a male that if I don't select properly, that male just takes over pretty much every one of the crosses, and it's like almost exclusively that male. And you're not seeing anything that the females are bringing to the picture, where I want to see a combination of the two. I'd love a 50-50, but it's never a 50-50.
I know that by the time you've gotten to flower, you've probably seen the male's characteristics, but I envision you sitting down with several different jars, rolling a joint, smoking, going, fuck, and then putting the next one and rolling it and smoking it, going, motherfucker, just the entire time as you just taste this male.
Early on, and then with the photo periods, there were a few occasions where that happened, where I thought, okay, this is the one I want to work with. The only way to find that out, even you can kind of get an indication based on when they drop their pollen, how long they hold their pollen for, and then and that's also a trait that can be used to your benefit as well for things like preservation projects. Or maybe I've grown a couple of these regular photo periods, and they were both females, and then I grow the next 6 that were left in the pack, and all of them are males. Well, I'm going to look for the one that is going to drop first, because that's the one that typically adds the most to a cross, and I'm going to cross that into with a female that is a weaker kind of a female, so I can get more of those seeds that are going to lean more towards the male. Especially if I like the smoke that much. So there's different ways that you can go about doing things as far as the preservation, at least from what my experience and what I found.
That's pretty fucking clever, man.
I know it really is.
It goes the opposite way too. If you have a male that holds and holds and holds and holds and holds and holds, and then he's super late, he's not probably going to add as much to the mix. So if you have a female you really like, you can use that male to get seeds, and the female you should find more of that female's characteristics in the cross than you would the male.
That's really interesting. That's some like incredible insider information. Do you ever save pollen? Do you collect pollen to save ever, or do you always try and time it right?
Sometimes, yeah.
He sent me some.
I did, yes.
Yeah, okay.
And that actually, I was able to send you that because I had that plant at that time, so I collected the pollen for you after I was done using that plant. Early on, I would save a lot of the pollen, and then it kind of was like I need a whole new crisper drawer in my fridge for the amount of pollen that I was having. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna. If
Your
it's
wife
like
kept asking why
really,
there's so much goddamn pollen in the fridge.
It's more common for me to do that with an autoflower male than with a photoperiod, because I can just clone the male and then reuse the same male. I know what it's going to do. I know what it's going to add, especially if it's a cross that I'm going to make again. With a photoperiod, you may find, just like you can find a unicorn in an autoflower female, you can find a unicorn as a male. So those are the ones that I'll typically be like, all right, I want to save this because I think this, after growing it out a little bit and different things, this could pair really well with this other one. I just got to find the female that I want to pollinate. And also having some on hand if I'm growing a female during the testing phase, like one I've never grown before, and she's just like, holy shit, like terpy as hell, like you can smell her from down the street kind of thing. I'm like, I need to pollinate this thing now because these genetics might not be in the rest of that pack. Sometimes it works out okay, sometimes not. You know, there's a few projects that I have that are probably coming out or coming on down the line that I'm bringing forward in the filial generations that are examples of that. Because I don't like to, especially for an F1, I don't like to just use something I've never grown before, because I don't know. If I'm trying to find a new staple, like an Odin Sons, like a blueberry grape, like a funeral desserts, like the sauce, you know, like the staples of my breeding. And I have quite a few now, which is kind of cool. Those sometimes will come from that kind of a thing. So if I have Odin Sons pollen because I just did a big project with Odin Sons and the male happened to be just crazy good, or the female I reversed just happened to be crazy good, I'll try to save some of that pollen so that if all of a sudden I'm growing out I don't even know, a cherry bangarang, and it's just, you know, it has every single thing that all the people talk about from all the different phenols, but they're all existing in this one. I'm like, shit, I need to try to save this some. So that's when I'll pollinate it just to, and then I'll work those seeds. Those aren't going to be released as F1s. Those will be worked at least to an F3, and then I'll release them after that.
That's incredible. The only reason I asked is because I was wondering if you were going to save it, if it would be beneficial to separate it and be like, this was the early. But I guess if you're at that point, if you're saving pollen, and it's just kind of, you've already just mixed it all into one vial, I guess.
It's no, because I only use one male for any project.
Okay.
When I see the males, when they get to the point where they're ready to.
You have a fucking Yag shirt on?
Yeah, dude.
What the fuck is that shit? That's gay. That is so gay in the mirror.
It's a wonderful shirt. Thank you for purchasing said shirt, my friend.
I do. I only did it for the seeds.
I don't blame you. That's why I told everyone else to do it. And to support Chuck, because he's a great fucking artist, man.
He is. It's badass. This is the first time I've actually worn the shirt, believe it or not.
Wait, is that the front? I had
Yeah,
to
that's-
double
dude,
check
that's
because
the
it looked like the logo, and then I was like, wait a minute, I thought this was the fucking shirt that was so. I don't.
It's weird that
Right.
BGG is wearing the shirt for the first time and breaking out into hives and looks like sweating profusely. It's like some kind of
the itching is what
demon
drew my
wearing-
attention to the shirt. Yeah.
It's the I licked a frog earlier. I think I'm having an allergic reaction.
Oh, good,
Um,
good. We are poisonous.
Wash it down with an apple. You'll be all right.
I was
Yeah, so
told
you only have.
I was
the
told
one
we're not
mailer on
allowed
you.
to eat apples or frogs. Is that true? Still, that's true.
No, you can eat me all you want, bitch.
Anyway, you had a question, Rob.
No. I'm enjoying the knowledge, but I was saying you only ever work with the one male that you like, so you don't
Yes.
have to worry about that. That's very smart.
If you have more than one male, it's going to muddy the pool. You don't know what you're getting seed to seed. You know, you have one female plant and you have two males. Each seed is going to be could be completely different. And now you're
That's
also
true.
dealing with, instead of just having 5 to 7 typical phenotypes with some outliers here or there for the F1 generation, you're at least doubling that because now you have two males in the mix. For projects, whether something that I want to release as an F1 because I'm happy at that level, or something I want to move forward with, the less choices I have in the F1, the better, because in F2 things get just insane, and that's really, in my opinion, where the true picks come in, bringing it forward, because then it narrows back down in F3, F4, and so on and so on. But F2, you're getting grandparents and the parents, and you're getting different crosses of the parents, and even like weird mutant things popping up here and there, and that's you really see what
Chaos.
exists in that plant at F2. Now, if I want to do a preservation project, I want to pop an entire pack of seeds and use all the males and all the females, because I want to get as many seeds as I possibly can. And if I'm going to hunt through those anyway, I want to see every possible expression I can get. Plus, if I want to pop 100 seeds, I need to have 100 seeds to pop. So it helps when you do that kind of thing.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
I don't
Yeah.
think it does. I think it's fucking craziness.
Oh, what
It
he
is-
does is insanity.
It is
But-
craziness, but that's okay.
Me.
That's why there's we call our section pollen checkers, right? Like when people mess around, I think there's a difference between breeders like BGG and fucking homegrown pollen checkers, right? There should be. There's
Like
a
howling.
reason. Yeah. Well, howling so neurotic at this point, it'll be like a full fucking. He has a checklist now too. I'm sure
Oh, I'm sure probably 3 of them.
it's probably better
They
than
all
every
contra-
checklist in the
They,
industry.
they contradict each other, and they'll change throughout the grow.
And yet
That's
every
okay.
plant that
We
dude
love howling.
touches is beautiful and amazing. It's frustrating. It's like, how can you stress
He's-
out constantly with only positive results?
He's King Midas.
Amen.
Um,
But we've touched. I was talking about the difference between a breeder and everything, but that was leading me to, and all that work you put in leads us to your coming drop here. Now,
Yes.
I'm slightly biased because one of them jumped out to literally Johnny like it was just glistening. But I'd like to start there.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually the first one I have on my list here too.
Hey, look at
Well,
that.
other than the blueberry grape, which I've already shared, but
Yeah, which is just a wonderful, like you said, staple now, and it is, like you were mentioning, it is cool having kind of a larger staple, a stable of staples.
yes. Well, that was my initial goal with breeding, was to find. Actually, it started with just 3 things. That's what I wanted, was 3 things that I could work with them and have them be the things that I cross into other things. So it's like, okay, I've worked these things forward, to a point where they are my family of specific things, and then it just became more and more and more, and I would find something and I'd be like, okay, well, now this is, and now this is, and now this is, and things like the blueberry that I created using multiple different blueberries that existed, to things like the White Widow Preservation Project that I did. I continued to work that forward until I got to a point where I'm like, okay, well, I've crossed this and carried it forward enough times that this is now my White Widow. It's not that I didn't just take the initial thing, cross it, and okay, now I'm going to use. No, it was keep growing these things out, and then when I found the ones that I wanted, I'd cross them and then bring that forward, and then I'd search through those. And it took years before I used the White Widow in anything outside of crossing it to one of my staples. So the White Widow wasn't the main parent; it was just a female in the mix.
Until recently, you got
until recently, yes. The last box set was the one where the White Widow was the main parent. That existed in all of them. The main reversal. And then, well, I guess a couple of them were reversals, a couple of them were with regular seeds, because I used the male in some of the crosses to make the cross, and then I reversed a White Widow to make some of the other crosses. So that so it kind of went both ways with those. I did it both
I've heard
ways.
that about you.
I did it both ways with any of them that were available to be done. So all the regulars were done, male on one side to female on the other side, and then it's opposite. Some of them were already feminized, so I couldn't do both ways.
They didn't pay good enough. You couldn't go both ways.
It became economically unaffordable. Yeah. So I had to really hone in and just say, okay, well, fine, I'm going to kill you, and then your sister will do it.
Oh, that would not be the case.
No, you didn't got to bring that in.
So yeah, that
Johnny and I are children.
Yeah, well, everybody knows that already, so that's fine. You notice you'll make a comment and it doesn't even faze me anymore. I just keep going, so it's fine.
I'd hope not. Yeah.
So that's obviously a previous one. There are actually some of those still available. Some of the Widow crosses that I made back in the spring. Well, they were released back in the spring. So getting back to what's coming out on October 16th, and the website is very, very close to being finished. Probably will go live in the next couple of days.
October 17th, you're hoping for, the day after?
Yeah, it's going to go live on the 17th. The drop is on the 16th. No, actually, it should be tomorrow or the following day. The website should be live for the existing stuff on there. And I think there's 10 things up now, and there's going to be 4 more that'll be added. Then the drop will be on the 16th. So any of the newer stuff that we're talking about today will be on the 16th. But I've had
the store open year round like you have been.
Yes. Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There's no
international too.
I can. It's just a little bit more tricky. So anybody that's international typically just reaches out directly.
Fucking seen that.
I heard
Johnny's dying because he just smoked a seed.
Yeah.
He must have found that one herm and the one seed that was in his bud.
Fucking kidding me? I smoke more fucking seeds than anybody. You know what happens when you fucking get when growing becomes kind of like a fucking chore, is you start to realize that sometimes there's just some seeds in your fucking weed. Mm-hmm. So it's
I will forever be thankful for the plant, right? Even if I have to sit there and swear at myself sometimes because I found a seed, right?
God, and I try to do a good
I've
job.
Smoked worse is my motto.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Oh yeah.
I don't think about this. Think of how fucking privileged you sound. my fucking weed doesn't have any fucking seeds in it. It's like, bitch, do you know how many fucking seeds we used to smoke back in the fucking like?
Why
My
is the
dad
sucker
would tell
flag
me.
gotta be
My
British?
dad, the fucking stories he would.
You know
tell
why,
me, right?
BGG.
He was like,
We
dude,
have
like,
one firm stance on this goddamn podcast. I will not betray. And that is all pretentious people must have an English accent.
Oh, okay. I thought you only hated the French.
French too. We could go on the things that I like to hate on this podcast, but the first one was the English. The first when we talk shit on daylight savings time because everyone blames the Americans, but it wasn't our fault. It was the Limeys' fault.
That's true. So getting back,
I'd hardly be the first person in my family to insult the British. Sorry,
getting back to the so we'll talk about the two crosses that actually did make the cut. The first being the one that you were implying Johnny was excited about, and that is the sour apple berries. It is
with a green apple.
Sour apple and a blueberry.
Yes, sour apple by Rock Bud crossed to the blueberry grape. They are autoflower regs. And yeah, like the testers right now, some of them just started pulling them down, and they're like super, super excited. They say every time they open the tent, it just smacks them in the face. And the pictures that I have that will be starting to be posted very, very, very soon on the Discord. They're gorgeous. I'm very, very happy with that. They're seeing the same results I was getting.
When you posted to your Discord this exact description that you're getting into and posted the artwork, it was not 2 or 3 days after Johnny was talking about what a slut he was for blueberry, and I saw that picture and I just went, holy shit, the universe is looking out for this dude.
You're gonna make me break my fucking rule of not buying any more seeds, though, dick.
Yeah, so I posted the description and some of the pictures of the mythical grape, which I'll get to last, but that's the new photo period that's coming out. So every day I'll be posting one of the new ones in the description and some pictures of them. Probably do the sour apple one, the sour apple berry one next, just because I know that's probably the one out of the three new autoflowers that everybody's the most excited about. So yeah, like I said, they're nice big plants. They definitely get size from the blueberry grape, which is awesome, but they have that sour apple candy, followed by like a grapey blueberry, like a fake, not real like the blueberry grape typically has. It's more like that fake candy taste to it. So it's almost like you shoved a bunch of Jolly Ranchers in your mouth of the 3 different flavors, or and you get hit with all of them as you're smoking it, which is really nice. Nice all day effects for sure. You take it a little bit longer. I find that when I've taken them to like 95 days, it definitely, you get more amber, which is normal for more sativa leaning stuff anyway. And it can be a nice like nighttime, just relax and chill, watch TV kind of thing. But I haven't taken it to a point where it puts me in the dirt. So it's even at that 95 days, which is usually going about 80 days. Even at that 95 days, it's not like crazy, which is awesome.
That's amazing.
Definitely still leans more towards sativa, which I was actually surprised with. Not fully, but the blueberry grape is probably like a 50-50. So I was expecting it to maybe be a 60-40, where the sour apples leans more sativa, probably in that 60-40 range. This is probably more like a 70-30, I would say, sativa over indica.
Dude, it's so funny when you said fucking put you in the dirt. I this whole fucking episode I've been going, I'm fucking high as shit, dude. What the fuck did I smoke? Like, I don't get fucking high anymore. Like, I sure as shit don't get fucking like put you in the fucking dirt high. My tolerance, like, I can't smoke enough the way I smoke to fucking really get high anymore. And whatever I had to just fucking look at my wife and go, dude, are you fucking high as shit too? What the fuck did we just smoke? My ears are red. Like, holy fuck.
What is it? Are you gonna keep?
I have no idea. I have no
Oh,
idea, dude. It
that's
was
the
one of them
worst.
fucking outdoor plants or something, man. I have no idea.
We'll find out. You're
My
gonna have to
dad
do
brought
some
it over
research
in
when
a
you're not
fucking
10.
jar. He's like, "Hey, this is one of those fucking 91 grapefruit fucking outdoor
Oh,
things you
yeah.
had." So
Nice.
Hell
my
yeah.
fucking, I don't know what the fuck.
Since you brought it up, I'm smoking on Odin Express right now, which was a wonderful plant to grow, by the way.
Nice.
And I do very much enjoy this high. I probably wouldn't have chosen 7 o'clock on a Wednesday night to smoke it, but I figured in honor of our guest, I was
How rude
told
of you
it
to
will.
bring up the time.
Wait, is that rude? Are
He didn't
not
say
supposed
where
to-
in
are
the
we not supposed
world
to
he
know?
was.
Yeah, he
so
didn't
it-
say where in the world he was.
No.
Yeah,
I have never.
I know. We
once
know how he
given my
knows that he
location
cannot
away.
establish Eastern versus Pacific Standard. I know it's difficult
No,
for this guy
yeah,
to.
it
Oh,
is
okay.
very, very
Okay, let's
difficult.
throw me on. You know what, motherfuckers? I'm gonna give a whole evil sermon. I'm going fire and brimstone on you, motherfuckers. That would imply that I prepared anything. I'm really do enjoy this Odin Express, though. You did a very wonderful job with her, and it's surprising because I've grown Zam once, and Zam Express, it was nice having a little more height to Zam, and the one that I grew was very Zam forward, at least from the Odin Express. So very
I was
excited
just
to grow
thinking,
her
dude,
again.
I've never fucking, I have never had the balls to fucking grow an Odin since. And I was just, as I was like trying to get my shit set up, I was like, you know, what'd be fun to do is when I drop this fucking seed bomb is to throw the Odinsons in there and see if I can get one to germinate and have it fucking outshine everything else so fucking obviously. That would be fucking cool to see if we can pinpoint her.
Who
So, I might
had
do
that massive Odinson that with the fucking buds and had like a trellis too? Was that Mac? Did Mac have one that was fill a 4x4?
I don't know if that was
don't
the Odin
remember.
Sons that he had. The Blueberry Grape
Tangy
he filled
for
a
sure.
4x4.
Yeah.
He some of my early testers for Odin Sons, one of them had two. They actually grew 3 of them out. So he popped, I think, 6 seeds. He had 3 males, 3 females, killed the males, and all 3 of the females were over 6 feet tall.
Yeah, that dude.
He got, I want to say he averaged like 11 ounces per plant on those 3, with one of them being close to a pound, which was like, holy shit.
Wow.
We just gotta fucking like have him fucking be a consultant or something. Fucking guy.
Mac wasn't actually the one that grew those, but yes, I agree. Mac could totally be a consultant, especially a salt consultant. But the second thing that actually made,
I want, before you move on,
go ahead.
I do want to say, so you got, these are auto regs.
Yes.
Don't fear the regs, as Captain says, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone should grow regs. They're fun. Johnny's hooked on them now. I think Johnny should get these and fill his fucking bed with these.
I will get these and eventually do that, but what's gonna suck is I'm not gonna get to smoke the fucking weed because I'm just gonna fucking go for seeds the first time to make a shit ton to have it forever. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, that's fair point.
You can smoke seeded weed. It's perfectly fine to smoke.
Yeah, it is.
Just,
it's
just take the seeds out.
He's discovering.
It's just a pain in the ass.
It is, but you can get a really good indication of the plant itself from doing that too, though.
Oh yeah, I absolutely will. Yeah.
You know what I've found helps, Johnny? Vape seeded bud.
Oh yeah, because it's probably not hot enough to actually fucking synthesize the fucking seed.
Well, you're not on the other end of the popping seed necessarily, right? You put some distance between you and the
yeah, I guess
the
too,
pop.
yeah.
Right.
Dude,
now
it's
the
just
second
so
thing
fucking
before
much
BGG
work.
kills
I hate
us.
cleaning glass. I hate cleaning
know.
glass, and that's the only fucking thing. I love a ball vape, but then I look like every time I watch, like even with Too Tall with his rig and all his shit and all this, I was like, oh my god, this gives me such fucking anxiety looking all this shit I gotta fucking clean.
Right. I don't want to bring a suitcase out whenever I want to smoke.
That too. Yeah.
Oh
I
no,
like
the
to go
two
like this,
guys
like,
that primarily smoke cones are going to talk about which way is the best way to smoke. You know what though, dude?
papers,
I
buddy.
needed. I like
Buddy.
having. I like
Buddy.
having a bubbler or a bong and ball vape. I love that, and I use joints on dog walks. It's great. Use however you want, but my throat doesn't hurt as much if I'm ball vaping as opposed to fucking chain smoking joints. I will say that.
Somebody keeps telling me how to fucking it's like somebody's a bunch of the guys in the fucking chat I think keep telling me about like a steam cleaner or some shit for your glass. It's like next level or something.
There's probably something like that exists. I could see that.
That would be interesting.
That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know
It
how
might
you
be
just
Matt.
thought about
It
that
might be
minutes
fucking
after we
Matt
stopped
Fratt.
talking about glass. That was impressive. I was like,
I
what the
was
fuck are you
still-
going with this?
Yeah,
I
because
thought we were
was
still talking
fucking-
about vaping, so you're like steaming, and I was like, that seems counterintuitive.
No, my
I'm
problem with
excited to hear
vaping
that.
is having to fucking clean the shit.
Yeah.
So I thought we were
Get
I
an
mean, it's
easy,
still on the
clean one,
same
dude.
subject.
No. You're right. I was confused. I was admitting that I'm an idiot
Twice? Oh man.
twice now.
You gotta stop. I feel like you're self-deprecating now. Like I wish I could give you a
Self-deprecating.
hug. Deprecating.
I'm fine.
Listen, this is here we come.
I'm
with
just
the
stalling
fucking-
before BGG lasers us with those angry eyeballs. What was the second one, BGG?
The second one is called Grapes and Cheese.
Oh,
So
shit.
that one has sweet cheese, and that's by a company called Dank Donkey Genetics. This was actually a pack of seeds that I had won for a giveaway, and I don't remember exactly what giveaway it was or where I got them or whatever, but I ended up winning them, and I grew some out, and I was like, wow, there's something interesting, like that funky, cheesy, kind of like a flavoring to it, but it had a sweetness as well. So I'm like, all right, well, I put it kind of in my back pocket to kind of think about using at a later date. And when I was going through the things, I was reading my notes and stuff. I'm like, this could be really interesting if it crossed the way I hope it can with the blueberry grape. And it did. Very funk, cheese, not so much the sweet. The sweet comes in more with the blueberries, or rather the grape, because the blueberry isn't really that pronounced in this particular cross. It's definitely more of a grape and cheese kind of a thing. And I was like, holy crap, it's really coming through. That funk comes through pretty strong with it, which is nice. That typical cheese kind of a funk.
I love how classy you are that you created a strain so that you can have a wine and cheese night in your bowl. And
the fucking weird thing about cheese trips is I've only ever experienced them in autoflower, and it was so
Really?
fucking obviously like that Kraft mac and cheese fucking packet when you fucking open it up to pour in the fucking.
Do you remember what it was that you got that from?
No, actually, I don't actually.
Bummer.
It's probably like orange creamsicle or something, right? That was the name of it. I hate when they do that.
It was definitely
something completely
exactly.
different.
It was definitely something that was not
Berries
not
and
supposed to
cream,
smell
and you're like,
that.
this tastes like roadkill. What the fuck?
This was very early on, man. I don't even think I had found a podcast or something
I've had 2 Queens banners that I've grown that were very cheese forward, and the first time took me for surprise because it did not smell like it at all. I was smelling it. I'm like, oh, this smells very fruity almost. And then I took a rip and I'm like, holy shit. That was just
that was
the only thing I could taste. It was, if you're into that kind of thing, it is wonderful. I am into it sparingly. I do not want that to be my primary smoke. But every once in a while, you're like, oh, damn, yeah, that's nice to have.
That is so
Good one to
obvious
have in the repertoire for sure.
Yeah. And if you can bring it out, the one thing I will say about cheese is that in my experience, it's one of the ones that a lot more people can recognize universally. If you tell someone something's very cheese forward and you give it to them, they're probably going to get some cheese. Whereas a lot of times you're like, man, I get this citrus, blah, blah, and you try it and you're like, you're a fucking liar. I don't get that. You know what I mean? But you don't run into that with cheese.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's definitely that common funkiness to the cheese that comes through pretty strong. And I don't know what terpene it is. You know, somebody like G3 or somebody like that would know way better than me. Um, so yeah, there's definitely something that comes through that, like you said, everybody knows. You tell them that, what does it taste like? And they're like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. And you're like, you're getting cheese, aren't you? And they're like,
Yeah.
holy shit, yeah, that's what it is. It's
Yeah, it's like
cheese.
that funk. Yeah.
And
It's,
you know, you like you said, you do that with something else, and you're like, oh, you're getting an orange, aren't you? And you're like, no, it kind of tastes like dirt to me, you know, and because they're not getting what you're getting. But with the cheese, yeah, I think it does really come forward. The Funky Widow had a bit of that like cheesiness to it, but way more on the funk side, like dirty, smelly athlete's feet. Um,
I
so
know
yeah,
every time people, and you know what? Each their own, and God bless
Yeah.
everyone or whatnot. That is not my thing. But man, do some people
meat
like
terps and
yeah, meat
fucking
terp nonsense.
bad.
Mhm.
Not in my weed, dude. Not in my weed. It's a flower.
exactly. I want floral fruit.
Dude.
I'll take the earthy. I'll take all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Keep the meat out of the weed and keep that. I don't want someone's gym sock in my weed. It's just,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's the Funky Widow has the gym sock in the weed. So
You know what? It's one of those things where you go, you know what? There's a little funk to it, but shit, the high's worth it, at least in my opinion, right? Like there's a lot of things that I'm willing to smoke that I'm just like, it's not the best, but holy hell.
for me, it's when it's different enough that I'm like, okay, this is not like really anything I've smoked before. It's worth being out there, even though I don't personally like it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's hard. That's a hard box to check sometimes when you're like smoking it as a breeder, and you're like, this is not what I want to smoke.
Yeah, you
know,
gotta keep
but
trying it. Yeah.
The high is really good, and other people that have tried it are like, holy shit, this stuff is amazing. You need to use it.
That is a tough balance. You have to mentally dance with being in your position because you have to breed something that you're passionate about. So you have to like it, but you also have to sell seeds. And if the vast majority of people disagree with you, no matter how right you think you are, you're not going to sell very many
You know what I've
seeds.
found? You know what I've found is the best argument for it all, whether you like to smoke something, dislike the terpenes of something or whatever. What I like the absolute best is a plant that's fucking loud. Don't be subtle with your shit, you little bitch. Like, come on, bring out the fucking terps. Like, I want to fucking, all right, like, thank you very much. That was very much garlic. That was fucking, don't like give me a subtle fucking hint of these subtle fucking, punch me in the fucking dick.
Those
Give me
are
some shit.
The subtlety is good in the background of whatever that punch in the face is.
Yeah, I'm talking about like during the grow and everything. I don't want you to be subtle with your terpenes. I want it loud. I don't care what the fuck it smells like. If it's loud, if it's fucking like you put your nose in it and you're like, okay. And then you got to go in and say, now what the fuck was that? I don't care. But sometimes you're like, you got to go in a plant and you like really got to get in. And it's like, fuck, man, you're a dud.
I like the ones that before they're even flowering, I can do a stem rub and get something from it. Those are the ones I like.
Those are the ones that are going to be fucking loud, man. It's like,
usually,
all right.
Yeah. But I can get an indication before they start taking over the whole room with their smell of if they're going to smell or not, which is nice.
I just like the ones that take up the room.
Which leads me into the photo period, the new one that I'm releasing, and it's been being tested and grown out by Mythical Grower for over a year now, I believe. He's grown it several times, and it's become like one of his favorite smokes of like all time, not just recent, which is a huge compliment when somebody happens to say something like that, of course. And Jay saw with the blueberry sauce, it says it's top 5 for him of all time smokes, and he's been smoking a long time, like some of us have. But it's I actually ended up naming it after Mythical, so it's called Mythical Grape. And it is a cross of Grape Essence by In-House Genetics.
Shake your ass. I'm sorry, wrong Mythical.
To Grape OG. And the Grape OG it was a friend of mine that actually has this particular plant. And it's a male. So the Grape OG was the male. I've smoked the female flower, and I really like that enough. So I wanted to use his, breeder male that he had. So this is a case of using the pollen that was kept from a male, because he still has the clone of the male, but I used the pollen that he had collected. And so this is an F3. So I made the cross and then grew it out a couple times, have bred it, and now it's an F3. These are photoperiod regs. And again, it's very, very grape forward, like in your face grape.
What kind of grape?
Oh shit!
I would, if I were to pick based on the majority of the phenotypes, I'd say it's like a Concord grape.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting out of it, and you get the grape but you also get just the grape peel as well. So it's like the full, it's like you peeled that grape, you ate the center, and then you you start eating the peel of it. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience. And yeah, Mythical, like I said, he's been growing it out. He's grown some beautiful plants, like big. I'm growing actually 4 of them out right now because it's become one of my wife's favorites.
So when you first started with his shit, did you say, "Show me what you're working with"? I'm sorry. Now this is just getting old.
No.
Okay.
Is that the proper answer?
Yes.
Okay.
For me, yes.
But yeah, so Grape Essence I had grown out for a few years before I ended up deciding I wanted to use it in something, and I just needed to find the right thing. And when I first smoked the Grape OG, I was like, holy crap, you have seeds of this? And he's like, well, I can do one better. I have pollen from my male. He goes, you can either have this or you can wait and I'll clone the male and you can just grow it. I'm like, give me the pollen. I had a plant that was growing out the Grape Essence already. It was just about ready to take pollen. So I'm like, perfect timing. And yeah, obviously I liked it enough during the initial testing that I have moved it forward to into the F3 now. Yeah, they're big. Again, it's kind of like any time of the day smoke. And I find this is one of them that you can for sure control the effects by the harvest time. So I usually take some down around 50 days, and then I'll take some down around 60. So the 4 that I have right now, they'll be coming down at 50, 60, 65, and 70. And they'll be able to be smoked at completely different times of the day because of the amount of amber and the amount of like clear to cloudy trichomes in the very early one, into the more like mostly cloudy, into the 5%, and then into like the 10 to 15% amber. So the last one that gets harvested at 70 days is going to be more like, okay, it's the end of the day. She can smoke it or I can smoke it, and it's going to help it relax us to go to bed or whatever. Where she can smoke the 50-day one first thing in the morning, it's going to have a lot more CBG in it because the trichomes haven't fully ripened.
Are we saying 50 days from seed to harvest?
No, when you flip the flower, 50 days.
Oh, okay. All right. This is a fucking auto reg. Yeah.
These are photo periods that I'm talking about now.
Yeah, photo reg. Right.
So yeah.
I lost track for a second. Did I mention how fucking high I am?
You're high again?
Burn.
Bazinga.
So the only other thing that is going to be coming out new in the next drop is I'm going to have a limited amount of packs of the root beer sauce. The one actually Captain was just smoking it on his show yesterday. So that is going to be available on very limited because I don't have a lot of seeds and I have to make more. I am moving forward with that one as well. I'm in F2 right now with it and searching through some of the plants in that to see if I can find a female that I want to move forward with.
That's George's root beer.
George's root beer times the sauce. It's actually the sauce times George's root beer.
Yeah.
If you want to be technical.
Sorry, I don't.
So yeah, that's gonna be limited. I think I have enough to realistically do 10 packs. It may be less, but I'll know before obviously the whole drop comes. The only thing I'm waiting on the drop is just some stickers and to finish putting all the packs together and stuff like that to get an exact count of everything. I know with the blueberry grape and the mythical grape, there's plenty of those because I did have a large amount of seeds I was able to get from those 2 crosses. The sour apple berries, there's in the range of like 30-35 packs of that. And then on the grapes and cheese, I want to say there's like 50-ish packs. So
Right on.
yeah, there's still.
I did want to give you credit though. Your pack game is what all the cool kids call it, I'm sure. Is constantly being upgraded every time that you seem to be doing these drops. Everything, the stickers, all the stuff is looking better and better, man.
Yeah, I have a lot of fun
doing the art.
I have a ton of fun like going through and picking. I use all AI stuff now, other than I put the prompts in, or if there's an idea I have in my head, I'll do like what they call a sketchbook drawing, or a toolbox drawing kind of a thing.
What?
Say that again.
Please, for the love of God, say what kind of something? What are you doing?
Sketchbook what?
A sketchbook drawing.
Oh, you
a
cute
toolbox.
Massachusetts boy.
Cool, a toolbox.
No.
That's not what I said.
No.
You said a very nice thing that
Yes,
I think is that it has to be only a Massachusetts accent thing, right?
I don't know. It's not spelled with 2 R's.
I don't know what I said.
You said drawing as if you were pulling 2 drawers out at the same time. Like,
possible.
ooh, look at me drawing here.
Anywho, so yeah, I'll come up with a quick sketch or something like that.
Of a bitch.
And I'll load that into the AI program so it has some kind of a guide with the prompt to go off of, and then I'll usually find multiple images.
That's how you get it to look so good. You son of a bitch.
I'll find multiple images.
Talent.
And then
the secret missing thing that I'm missing always is the fucking talent.
I then take all of those and I put them into like a drawing program that I have on my iPad, and I can combine the different things. So maybe there's a type of a fruit that I really like in this image, that how the AI made it or whatever, but I like this character or like this, and I'll start putting the different things together. Yeah, so I definitely have a lot of fun making the art and things like that. And they go through, well, you saw when I did the Frogception, the amount of versions of it that it went through before I really settled on the 3 that ended up.
I have my 3 stickers set up, but I have those messages of all the different ones before, because I thought there was like quite a few of them where I was like, oh, that's dope. And you're like, I went with this one. And I was like, you made a better choice. It's for moral support, you ask me, because I have a terrible eye, as evident from our artwork on all of our podcasts.
Yeah, it's definitely
not always that bad. It's always pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I like the little art stuff that you guys do with yours. I know it's AI generated as well, but yeah, it always seems fitting. I've never seen one and I'm like, this makes no sense whatsoever. Except for everyone you've done with me.
The hardest ones are always you, because for the longest time, well, because there's 2 reasons. I'll give you some behind the fucking scenes shit. 2 of them, I've tried to include the Hulk, right? Like legitimately include the Hulk somehow. And that bugs the fuck out of AI for no reason that I can understand. And then so I had to like create a separate image and then bring it in. And the second reason is because when I didn't have an overall theme for Big Green Monster or Big Green Guy, you get fucking the Jolly Green Giant almost every goddamn time. And I cannot tell you how many times I refreshed it before I was just like, I'm going off of like, yeah, it is. That's why one of them is you as a giant red dog. Because Johnny named it Clifford the Red Dog, thankfully. And it was the easiest artwork that I did for us because I didn't have to search up, not the Jolly Green Giant. But we've been doing this for we've been doing this longer than 3 years, right? Because our Alabria was our 3rd year. Yeah. So longer than 3 years. So at least AI technology has gotten better, that at least this one will be significantly better than what it was the first time that we fucked around with it.
Yeah, definitely. No, I have noticed actually the things getting more creative and more, as you create new ones every single week, and it's cool to watch. It's neat to see the evolution of all of the podcasts, and like how far everybody has come. You look at like Cultivation Conversation, and when they first were doing their episodes, there was no video, there was no lives, there was no, nothing like that, and how truly polished they have become since.
Oh yeah, they're
Really
pros
cool.
at it.
Yeah.
Well, podcasting has become easy.
Oh yeah, dude,
Like,
it's so
there's
much
a lot
easier
of
than it.
when we first started, like, it was a pain in the fucking dick. Like, it literally is a pain in the dick. Plus, when you first kind of start out, like, all right, nobody's listening anyways, so like, how much fucking money are you really gonna spend? Like,
Right.
it is a fun little hobby, but how much do you want to spend to fucking? I mean, the program we use makes it easy because it's fucking $500 a year.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because we pay for
So,
it.
exactly.
And by
but-
we, I mean one dude with a beard right now, and it ain't me.
No,
Or me.
the
we
fucking
they dropped
community
it this
did this
time.
year.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but I'm saying that like there were times where you got hit, and it was like, oh fuck, dude, this podcast is really detrimental to the overall fucking bottom line, but it's so much of a blessing to have built
It
the
makes it so
community
much
that
easier. It's like,
yeah.
time is money type shit. It's
Cheaper than
That's why
therapy
I'm-
too.
Yeah,
and the
we
community
could-
outreach is just fucking incredible, man.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
cheaper
I
than,
mean,
it's cheaper than therapy.
You're gonna be there in Maine next year, right? Regardless, because it's only like a hop, skip, and a jump for you, right?
I think depending, it no matter almost no matter anywhere that he is going to do it in Maine, I'm like less than 5 hours from there.
So what's your excuse gonna be when you bail on us? It's like, oh, you got too scared. We're finally
Flat
gonna be
tire.
done.
I got a flat
Yeah.
tire.
That shit didn't work for so many people.
I'm not going to get scared. Why would I get scared?
Well, I don't know. You're not
Are you
supposed to call out
Ask
the joke.
Tuto.
I'm just
You're
kidding.
gonna
That's too
threat-
tall.
you're
He's
gonna
too
threaten
Random
him.
shit.
He met Padre and he was too scared to fight him, so you asked fucking why you'd be too scared. Ask.
He looked at me and he said, "That dude is too small."
He said, I'm afraid that if I even tussled with him a little bit, I'd break him.
That dude. He looks like he just got released from the fucking clinic, man. Like, surely.
Shit.
So out of
Yeah.
the stuff that you're working now, I'm not gonna ask you to release anything or any details or stuff, but are you still on track for one more after this?
There's most likely, and I'm like 90% sure that I'm going to do it. It'll be the end of November, so like a Black Friday kind of a thing. There'll be one autoflower. I think that's the one. I'm kind of like narrowing it down, but I'm 90% sure that this is the one that it's going to be. I just want to do something for the Black Friday, like a Black Friday kind of sale, and I want this to be part of it. And then tentatively, there could be up to 3, but more than likely it's going to be 2 things like I do in December right around my birthday. That'll be a photo and auto.
Dope.
So yeah, that's it for
Yeah,
the rest of this year, and then I will have another. Right now, it's looking like it. I mean, it could be the biggest box set yet, but I'm going to have to reduce it no matter what because I'm not going to have more than the wedding feast was 7 crosses. Or 8 if you count the freebie. That's a lot. So I like the 4 to 5. So there is right now. I probably could have 11 based on what I'm seeing and how the first round went with everything. So I need to narrow that 11 down to 5 somehow, and then maybe save some of the other ones for later. If I'm going to do a box set in the spring or early spring, end of winter, whatever.
I do have a question when it comes to your box sets, though. Do you struggle to find the motivation to continue to work on them, knowing that you've already released the best one? Like, you've already achieved perfection. How do you continue to go to work every day?
Well, it's just you recognize that and you realize everything else can still be second best.
What a sad world would we live in if a frog was the best of anything.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the applesauce.
I thought he was
Oh.
talking about I thought he was talking about the blueberry sauce.
I will say, I think medically, the best reception to this, like from the sauce, has been. That was a ugly sentence, but I will rephrase that as I've seen a lot of really positive reception medically to the fucking sauce, and it is pretty inspirational because it spans like several groups of people that like several different Instagram, Discord, like shit. You hear it on YouTube, all the kinds of crazy stuff. It's pretty inspirational.
Yeah, was of course never expected. I talked about it originally that it was never the intention to create something. I was looking, but I never thought I would find it in the basically I was trying to make cherry pie into an autoflower, like my version of cherry pie. I had Odin Sons pollen. I had reversed one, so I hit it to my friend's cherry pie just on a single branch, got those, started growing them out, and as I was smoking them, I'm like, this is weird. It's like I had a little bit of a headache, but I don't have a headache now. And then I try it when I'd have a little more, and it still took it away. Then I try it when I was having a bad one. It didn't completely take it away, but it knocked it down enough I could function and be fine for the day. And I was like, holy crap, there's something to this. And then it was actually Captain was talking about his wife and having lockjaw and suffering from migraines at times and things like that. And I'm like, I had reached out to him like, okay, this may seem weird, but this helps me with my migraines. Can I send you something to give to your wife, have her try it? And I sent her, a couple cones of it and whatever, so she could just try it. And we met in person and I gave him them. And then she found relief, and it wasn't just relief that night, it was relief that night. And then she was still feeling relief the following day. And I'm like, okay, this is something I need to continue exploring. And that's why, I've been trying to make it into an autoflower. It's just, it loses something in that final full autoflower. And I'm not going to release it unless at least 70% of the phenotypes they're getting are having the headache relief in the autoflower version of it. Because the photoperiod version of it flowers very quickly. It's 56 days. So there's not really a full reason for me to push the autoflower part of it if I cannot find that. And that's, ultimately what I want to do anyway. I would like to make it into an autoflower. It's already feminized. It's a process because it's feminized. I think had I made it with regular pollen from Odin Sons, this process would have been done a long, 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 long time ago.
As evident by your many interviews on this podcast, I can clearly say that you do not do anything the easy way. You are a glutton for punishment, and I think it benefits everyone who grows your seeds. It is one of the easiest recommendations that we can make is to grow your gear because it's tested, right? Like I can guarantee that you're not going to have some weird fucking issue if you're growing.
Well, every now and then there still are
BGG.
Outliers. Some people will still get a mutant, but that's going to happen no matter what.
Of
course. If it's a 1 in 1,000 kind of a thing, you're going to see it every now and then.
And that's when we say BGG who? We've never met.
Oh yeah, that guy sucks. But yeah, that does happen for sure. You'll get a batch every now and then. Maybe it's super hot and it goes to the post office and something happens to the seeds. So they're sitting in this hot container out in the yard for days, and then they get the seeds, they don't germinate. It's going to happen. But in those cases, they reach out to me, I send them more seeds. So it's not,
as they say, shit happens. But
yeah.
Johnny, you look exhausted. So I
am. I was gonna ask a couple more questions.
Yes.
Is it still meat pie?
Meat pie.
Your favorite? Yeah, wasn't it meat pie is your favorite pie?
His vegetarian favorite was meat pie.
Was definitely not meat pie. No, I actually said apple pie, or cherry pie was actually my number one, but I do like a good apple pie. Yeah.
And favorite fruit, obviously still apple.
No, still grapefruit.
Damn it, man! I can't even trick this fucking
6
guy.
of these.
All right, I'm not gonna
Um,
fucking keep punishing myself.
I
I'm out of
will.
questions.
Cheese pizza.
No, that's not the option. We're striking that from the record. You know what's funny is anyhow. Now we'll move on. No one has any more questions for the big BGG.
Do we have anything there? We are the only people here. This isn't a circle episode. This is is this their first time back with just us? It's always
No.
been the circle
No.
just since then.
No.
He's been on so many times in so many variations.
I think it's
Just
probably
assume
if
no.
I've been on with you guys 6 times, it's probably 3 and 3.
No shit. We gotta fucking stop having you on. I mean, thank you for coming.
He's gonna start billing us.
I know.
He's like, BGG's 20% of our episodes. What the hell's going on?
What the fuck happened?
It's weird. It's the only one people listen to. But I am going to
I find that
do
very
a
hard to believe.
quick sermon before giving everybody a chance to plug and shit. This is the worst transition ever, but I'm fucking exhausted, so deal with it. That's right. That's your reverend, right? Before he gets up to preach, starts going, give me a fucking second, motherfuckers. No, I want to talk about anyone who is hesitant to start breeding or to throw it back to an earlier term to pollen check. I would super recommend it, right? Like, and I know BGG would too,
Mhm.
but remember when you're doing that and you're just pollen checking and doing all that fun stuff, remember that if you really want to take it to the next level and stuff, there is a ton of work that you need to do. And I think you should drink deeply from the knowledge of people who have done it before and ask a ton of questions of BGG, who is so gracious with his time. But there's a lot to learn, essentially, and dive
true.
head first. Don't be a dick, mind your own business, and go with Frog. BGG, do you have anything that you want to plug other than your drop you can remind us the details of?
So the drop officially is going to be October 16th. Over the next few days, the website should go live. Yeah, other than that, just shout out to my team. I can't do what I do without them.
We will not allow a shout out of Stoney on this podcast, though. So great job, team, minus Stoney. I'm just kidding.
No, especially Stoney. How about that?
Especially, he's a great dude.
He showed you guys his shirt that I had sent to him?
Yeah. He fucking bragged about it all night. You know what's funny is he was gonna try and drug me with Butter of the God to make me fall asleep, but he had forgotten. Thankfully, I was able to evade it. Johnny, do you have anything that you missed, wanted to plug, anything at all?
Yeah. My Obsidian, I think she said it was Crow here. It makes my apple look like he's got a black tooth. My apple from Instinct. But thanks BGG for the package. I love the
G3. Thank you.
Yeah, I
whatever.
did.
It's his choice now.
BGG.
Whatever,
Yeah.
man.
We do
Stop
it all
with the
the
fucking
time.
G's. Would you guys
It's
grow
tough.
up and
I
pronounce
know.
your shit, you lazy bastards?
We're the lazy ones.
The BGG in the back, over your left-hand shoulder is the one that I sent
This
you.
is my man's apple. Yeah, this is the face he drew and everything.
I know.
I
there's
used
the
to.
apple spice.
It still take the bottom half of it. You might be able to see if I can't do it. But you see the bottom half, one of the original Legos you sent me, I put on the microphone so that way every time I spit, it could hit him in the face.
It's just not nice.
It's
It's
terrible.
not nice.
I cherish everything you've given me. My frog sits over there.
I cherish it so much. I would love to just hack pua on it every single time.
I also received something from G3. And I am also a crow. So stealing your thunder, some bitch. Thank you, G3.
Yeah.
And that's Girl Go Grow. And this
And you
was
did it
an
right.
episode with Big Green Guy.
Yes.
And
thank
he
you
is
very
the
much.
breeder behind Green Guy Genetics. Boom. I said everything properly, which is amazing for someone with a stutter.
Now,
Please turn it off before I fuck it up.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Take it.
Thank you, BGG.